Sho Tucker was a state alchemist known for creating the first talking
Not
chimera
this
2
guy,
years before the
bro.
start of the series.
Ah, fuck. No, we starting off with the worst of the worst,
His
bro.
certification was coming up for review, and he hadn't produced any
Shit.
significant research results since that first achievement. If he failed the review, he would lose his certification and all the funding that came with it. Edward and Alphonse Elric were staying at Tucker's house to research biological alchemy. During
That
this
was-
time,
yo,
they got to
he
know
was
Tucker's young daughter
bugging.
Nina and their large dog Alexander. Nina was a cheerful kid who loved playing with Ed and Al, and she often played with Alexander around the house. Tucker became
No.
increasingly desperate as his assessment date approached. He had no new research to show, and he knew he would lose everything if he couldn't produce results. So he did what he had done once before. He used human transmutation to fuse a human with an animal to create a talking chimera. When Ed and Al returned to Tucker's house, they found that Nina and Alexander were both missing. Instead, there was a new chimera that could speak. The chimera looked like a large dog-like creature with long matted fur. But when it spoke, Ed immediately recognized something was wrong. The chimera said, "Ed
Yeah.
Ward, big brother, play," in a slow, struggling voice. Ed
Fuck.
realized what Tucker had done. He had fused Nina and Alexander
Fuck,
together
man.
to create this talking chimera. The
This
creature
shit
still
still
had Nina's
hits hard, bro. Bro, this shit still hits hard, bro. Oh my god. Sho Tucker is such a
memories and
dick.
could recognize Edward and Alphonse. She was conscious and aware, trapped in this new body, unable to return to her human form. When confronted, Tucker showed no remorse. He defended his actions by saying that a state alchemist must always make progress and produce results. He acted like this was just necessary research. That's when Tucker revealed something even more horrifying. His wife hadn't actually left him 2 years ago like everyone thought. He had used her to create his first talking chimera, the
this
achievement
guy,
that made him
bro,
a state alchemist in the first
fucking
place.
hell.
The military arrested Tucker for his crimes. Nina, still in her chimera form, was placed in a research facility, but she didn't stay there long. Scar, a serial killer targeting state alchemists, found her and killed her. He saw it as a mercy killing, ending her suffering rather than letting her live in that painful existence. Edward was traumatized by what happened to Nina. He blamed himself for not realizing what Tucker was doing sooner. This event stayed with him throughout the entire series and reinforced his determination to restore his and Alphonse's bodies the right way, without sacrificing others. Bondrewd
Yeah.
was a white whistle delver who conducted experiments in the deepest parts of
That still hurts so hard whenever you see that little. Whenever you see Nina in that form, it still just hurts so bad, bro.
the Abyss. He wanted to understand the curse of the Abyss, the
Made of in the Abyss, I've been hearing a lot about it. Like, I see a lot of people saying that it's so good, but I still haven't checked it out. I'm not sure if I want to.
phenomenon that affects
Because
anyone
it's
who
too
has
childlike. Like, I'm not, yo, I do not like seeing these kind of shit, especially when there's some bad shit happening after, bro. Like, they kids, man, come on, bro.
descends from the lower layers. The deeper you go, the worse the curse gets when you come back up. He used orphan children as test subjects for these experiments. Mitty and Nanachi were 2 orphans living in the slums on the surface. They had
Okay.
nothing and were struggling to survive. When Bondrewd's people came recruiting, they offered food, shelter, and the promise of helping with important research.
so-
Mitty and Nanachi volunteered together, not knowing
What
what they
the
were actually
fuck?
signing
Isn't that a kid, bro? Why does she look like this? What the hell?
Bondrewd took groups of children down to the 6th layer of the abyss in a special elevator-like vessel. The 6th layer is extremely deep. Ascending from that depth normally causes loss of humanity or death.
What
That's
the
exactly what
fuck
Bondrewd
is
wanted to
that?
study. He put the children in pairs inside cartridges and brought them back up to see what
No,
would happen. Mitty
what
and
is
Nanachi
that?
were placed together in one of these cartridges, but Bondrewd designed the cartridges with a specific purpose. They would force the curse from one person onto the other. This meant one child might survive with minimal effects while their partner would take the full impact of both curses. When they ascended,
What?
Nanachi transformed into what's called a Narehete, or hollow. She became a furry creature
Oh my god, why does it look like
that
this?
looked like a
No,
rabbit or
no,
small
no,
animal,
no,
but she kept
no.
her human intelligence and
Oh,
ability to speak.
shit,
She could still
man,
think and talk normally, just in
no.
a different body. Mitty wasn't as lucky. She absorbed both her curse and Nanachi's curse at the same time. Her body transformed into something that barely looked human anymore. She became a blob-like creature with distorted features, unable to speak or move properly. But the worst part was what the double curse did to her body's functions. The extreme curse gave Mitty a form of immortality. Her body couldn't die through normal means. She would regenerate from any injury, no matter how severe.
Fucking
Bondrewd
hell.
tested this by subjecting her to various experiments, burning, crushing,
Basically he tortured her. Oh my
and other
god,
forms of damage.
fuck!
Every time her body would heal and regenerate, she couldn't escape through death. Despite her transformation, Midi retained
Shit,
some level
man.
of consciousness. When Nanachi looked at her, Midi's eyes would show
I'm not
recognition.
watching this,
She
bro.
couldn't speak or communicate
I'm
in
not
any
watching
clear way,
this.
but she was still aware on some level. She was trapped in this immortal body, unable to die,
Oh,
unable to
oh, is that
communicate,
right?
just existing.
No.
Nanachi eventually escaped from Bondrud's facility and took Midi with her. She cared for Midi in the fourth layer of the abyss for years, hoping to find a way to either restore her or give her
No,
peace.
I'm
But
not
nothing
watching
worked.
this,
Midi's
bruh.
immortality meant she couldn't be killed by conventional means. When Rico and Reg arrived in, Nanachi asked Reg to use his incinerator, a powerful weapon that completely disintegrates whatever it hits. Reg fired the incinerator directly at Midi. The
And
beam
it killed
completely
her?
vaporized her body, finally ending her existence. It was the only thing powerful enough to overcome her regeneration
I'm
and
not
give her a
watching
true
this,
death.
bro. This
Tetsuo
hurts.
Shima was a teenage
My
biker in Neo
heart
Tokyo
hurts,
who got
bro.
into an
God
accident with a
damn.
psychic child named Takashi.
Yeah, I
The collision
remember
awakened
this.
latent psychic abilities in Tetsuo that had been dormant his whole life. The military immediately took him to a research facility where they had been studying psychic children for decades. The scientists
What
at the
the
facility
fuck? Why
started
does she
running
look like
tests on
that?
Tetsuo
That's not
to
a
measure
kid.
and understand his abilities, but his power level was increasing at an abnormal rate, much faster than the other psychic children they had studied. The Espers, the elderly
do they
psychic
look
children
like
at the
this?
facility, warned that Tetsuo's power was growing too quickly and that his body wouldn't be able to handle it. As Tetsuo's
And that's
abilities
what
grew
happened. He
stronger,
became
he
a
started experiencing
giant
severe
baby
side effects.
blob.
He had intense headaches and his body began to feel unstable. The scientists explained that his psychic power was exceeding what his physical body could contain. The first major mutation happened to Tetsuo's right arm after it was injured. Instead of healing normally, the arm began to grow and transform into a massive twisted mass of flesh and mechanical-looking
Oh,
tissue.
this
It wasn't
is
just growth, it
nasty.
was uncontrolled mutation that mixed organic matter with inorganic material in
Oh,
grotesque ways.
shit,
When
man.
Tetsuo's power finally went completely out of control, his entire body started mutating.
Yeah,
his
he
flesh
became a
began
giant
expanding
baby.
rapidly, growing into an enormous blob-like
God.
mass. The mutation wasn't just his own body, it started absorbing
Yeah, he
and
started
consuming
absorbing
everything,
everything,
around
which
it.
is
His
why
motorcycle
there is some mechanical parts to his body. Yeah,
got
yeah,
pulled
yeah.
into the mass. His girlfriend Kaori,
Ugh.
who was trying to reach him, got caught in the expanding flesh
Girlfriend? How old is this kid, bro? What the fuck?
and
Girlfriend?
was crushed and absorbed into it. The flesh mass grew to enormous size, filling large portions of the Olympic Stadium area. It was a pulsing, writhing mountain of
Olympic
mutated
Stadium?
tissue that kept expanding outward. Metal, concrete, and organic matter all got mixed together as the mass
shit,
consumed
man.
everything
What
in
the
its path.
fuck?
The most disturbing part was that Tetsuo remained conscious through all of this.
Yeah,
he was
so-
aware of what was
that-
happening but
that
couldn't
gotta
stop it. His
hurt.
face would occasionally surface within the flesh mass, and he was clearly terrified and in pain. He screamed and
shit
cried
look
out, begging for someone to
nasty.
help him and make it stop. At one
Yeah,
point,
that definitely has to hurt, bro. There is no way that doesn't
he
hurt.
specifically called out for Kaneda, his friend. The other psychic children tried to help contain the situation. When Akira's power got involved, there was a massive energy reaction. Tetsuo's mutation reached a critical point where the mass began to collapse in on itself. The psychic energy created what looked like a singularity or black hole effect. In the end,
Oh, wow.
Tetsuo didn't just die, he transformed into something else entirely. The collapse of his mutated form and the convergence of psychic energy caused him to transcend into a different state of existence. The
What?
Espers explained that he was beginning a new universe, suggesting he became some kind of cosmic entity rather than
What the fuck? This man became a god, bro?
simply being destroyed. Kyubey is a creature that approaches
My man's became a god? He's like, I'm Tetsuo, a new god? Like, whoa, shit ain't making no sense in my head, bro. This, what the fuck just happened?
teenage girls and offers them one wish in exchange for
Yeah,
granting
Madoka
that wish.
Magica,
The
yeah,
girl
I remember
becomes a
this.
magical girl with powers to fight witches. Witches are monsters that hide inside barriers and cause people to harm themselves. On the surface, this seems like a fair deal. You get your wish and help save people. But Kyubey
But it
leaves out the
wasn't,
most
right?
important part of the contract. When a girl agrees to become a magical girl, Kyubey performs the transformation by removing her soul from her body and placing it inside a small gem called a
Oh.
soul gem. This isn't just a power source or
Whoa.
a magical item. It literally is her soul. Her body becomes an empty shell that's controlled by the soul gem. Kyubey explains that this is actually an upgrade. Since the body is now separate from the soul, magical girls can fight
wow.
without feeling as much pain and can keep going even with serious injuries. But the reality
What
is
the
that their human body is now just a puppet being controlled remotely by a gem. The soul gem has another function that Kyubey doesn't explain up front. It
Which
collects
is?
negative emotions and despair. Every time a magical girl uses magic, the gem gets a little darker. Every time she feels sadness, anger, or hopelessness, it gets darker. If a magical girl doesn't
Wow.
regularly purify her soul gem by using grief seeds dropped by defeated witches, it will eventually turn completely black. When a soul gem becomes completely corrupted, it doesn't just break or stop working, it transforms into a grief seed, and the magical girl transforms into a witch. This is the secret that
It's
Kyubey
a
hides. Every witch
cycle.
that magical girls fight used
The
to
witch
be
are witch that. Oh wow. Oh, okay. Whoa. It's a cycle. The grief seeds are produced by the witches, but if the witches run out, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, at some point there's not going to be enough witches, so you won't be able to purify your soul gem, and it will be corrupted. And when it's completely corrupted, you become a witch. And when you get killed, you drop a grief seed that the next magical. Okay.
Magical girl herself. The monsters they've been killing were once girls just like them who made contracts with Kyuubi. Sayaka Miki's transformation shows exactly how this process works. Sayaka used her wish to heal a boy named Kyosuke's injured hand so he could play violin again. She became a magical girl hoping to protect people and do good. But things went wrong quickly. Kyosuke ended up getting close to her friend Hitomi instead of her. Sayaka also learned the truth about soul gems and was horrified that her body was now just an empty shell. As Sayaka
So she made a wish to heal the boy, and I'm guessing she was in love with him, but he fell for her friend. Yeah, shit, that's definitely gonna make some dark shit come up, man. That's
fought more witches and
dark
dealt with her
feelings,
emotional
whatever.
pain. Her soul gem got darker and darker. She could see it happening but couldn't stop it. She felt like she had become something inhuman, and the boy she loved would never see her the same way. Her hope turned into complete despair. When Sayaka's soul gem finally turned completely black, it shattered and became a grief seed. Her body transformed into a witch called Octavia von Seckendorf. The witch form reflected her inner pain. It was a mermaid-like creature surrounded by water, similar to the Little Mermaid fairy tale about unrequited love. The witch conducted an orchestra in a concert hall setting, connecting to Kyosuke's music. Sayaka was
the violin. He did violin.
Completely gone at this point, replaced by the witch. The other magical girls had to fight and kill Octavia, not knowing at first that she was Sayaka. This is what makes the system so disturbing. Magical girls spend their time hunting and killing witches, and then they eventually become witches themselves and get hunted by the next generation of magical girls. Kyuubi reveals that this entire system is intentional. His species harvests the energy that's released when a magical girl's hope turns into despair and she becomes a witch. That energy is used to prevent the heat death of the universe. To Kyuubi, this is a logical and efficient system. He doesn't understand why humans would be upset about it. Homura Akemi has lived through multiple timelines and watched this cycle repeat over and over.
I don't blame Kyuubi, you know what I'm saying? He's doing what he needs to do to save the world, but there could be another way.
Mami, Kyoko, and Sayaka all become witches in different timelines. Even Madoka, who would become the most powerful magical girl, would also become the most dangerous witch if she ever transformed. Parasites are alien creatures that came to...
Now, the disturbing, this disturbing, man. That their heads be splitting open. Oh hell nah, man.
Earth and started
Parasite was genuinely fucking hard for me to watch.
Bodies. They enter through a person's nose.
It was so hard for me to watch. As I watched, I was
sleeping and burrow
all the time, bro.
Once they reach the brain, they take complete control.
I can't,
of the body.
bro. These kind of shit, I can't, bro.
The person is dead, but their body keeps walking around with a parasite controlling it. Shinichi Izumi was sleeping when a parasite
he blocked
tried to
his
enter
arm.
his body through his ear. He woke up and the parasite ended up burrowing into his right hand instead. Shinichi tied off his arm with his headphone cord before the parasite could reach his brain. This created an unusual situation. The parasite named Migi only took over his right hand while Shinichi kept control of the rest of his body.
But at the end of the day, didn't he, like, I don't remember exactly what happened, but he gave his heart or something and Migi fused with it. That's how he became way stronger.
They take over the entire person. When a parasite fully takes over a host, they can access all of the person's memories. They know the host's name, job, family members, and daily routines. This lets them blend in and pretend to be the original person, but they don't have any of the human's emotions or feelings. They can't love, can't feel compassion, and don't care about
the girl that we saw, like the purple hair. She had a kid, and then she started feeling things too. She developed emotion and all
relationships
that.
The original person had. The parasites can also morph their hosts' body in disturbing ways. They can turn body parts into bladed weapons, create tentacles, split the head open, and reshape flesh however they need to. These transformations happen quickly and the parasite can switch back to looking completely normal in seconds. Shinichi's mother, Nobuko, was one of the people who got taken over by a parasite. A parasite that was in a different host transferred into her body after its original host was damaged. When Shinichi came home, he found his mother standing there looking completely normal, but something was off about the way she moved and looked at him. The parasite wearing his mother's face attacked Shinichi. It stabbed him through the chest with a blade
that's
that formed
when
from her
Migi.
arm. There was
Yeah.
no recognition in her eyes at all. She looked exactly like his mother. Same face, same hair, same voice. But the person inside was
remember.
completely gone. The
Well,
way
she
she
was-
moved was
yeah.
stiff and unnatural. Not like how a human
Because they're
mother-
not used to it. They're parasite. They're not used to the way the human body function. That's why you'll see some of them. It takes time for them to adjust to the human body and make it work normally. So when a parasite just fused with a host, you can kind of see it by the way they walk, the way their eyes move, and all of that. There's a difference.
would move. Shinichi knew his real mother was dead. When it looked at him, it saw prey or a threat, not her son. The parasite chased him and kept trying to kill him with cold efficiency. Later, after Shinichi recovered from his injuries, he confronted the parasite in his mother's body again. He had to face the fact that he would need to destroy his mother's body to stop the parasite.
Yep.
Even though he knew she was gone, seeing her face and hearing her voice made it extremely difficult. Eventually, the parasite was killed and his mother's body died with it. But the trauma of being attacked by someone who looked exactly like his mother, who moved in her body and spoke with her voice,
That's messed
stayed
up,
with Shinichi
bro.
for the rest of the series. Ryo Asuka brings his childhood friend Akira
come
Fudo
on,
to an
damn it,
underground party in an
crybaby.
abandoned warehouse. Ryo explains that demons
it's
can
not
possess
disturbing. They turn into demons, and demons are ugly, man. It's not that disturbing.
humans
You
when
know what I'm
people
saying?
lose complete control of their emotions. The stronger the emotions, fear, rage, lust,
Yeah,
the easier it is
you know,
for
you see the part where they're inside the party. It's kind of crazy. Like I think it's like in the first 3 episodes, the party mode. There was some out of pot. There was some shit being shown. Like you're not supposed to watch this anime with people around you. You know what I'm saying? This is something you watch alone. Cause there was some yiddies out, bro. Like I was like, God dang, what the fuck? Well, I'm like, wait, what? Is that for real? I was so shocked, bro. I was not expecting that.
demons to take over. This party is called a Sabbath, and it's designed to push people to their breaking point. There
For,
are drugs everywhere.
yeah.
Loud electronic music, strobe lights, and people fighting and doing extreme things. Rio actually
So that
brought
a
weapons
demon
and more drugs to
possess
make the
him.
chaos worse on purpose. He wants to create the perfect conditions for demons to appear.
possess,
As the party
yeah.
gets more out of control, demons start coming through. They possess the people who have completely lost themselves to their emotions. The
And they
transformations
start-
don't happen one at a time. They happen all at once across the whole crowd. People's bodies start changing while the music keeps blasting. Skin rips open, bones crack and reshape. Arms and legs twist into new forms.
Yup.
Some people grow wings,
You see,
claws,
bro.
or extra limbs. Their faces stretch and deform.
That's all right. That's because that's a demon. We're not thinking too much about it. Before that, yo, they were humans, bro. You know what I'm saying? There was some
into monstrous shapes. The transformations are violent and painful to watch. Some of the demons that form are even more disturbing. Multiple
Yeah,
people's bodies
some were
merge together
fucking
during the
ugly.
possession, creating single demons made from several fused human bodies. These amalgamation demons have parts from different people all twisted together into one
That shit
creature.
was
The whole
mad.
room becomes a nightmare in minutes. Dozens of
That's
people
what
are
Akira
transforming
got.
simultaneously while the electronic dance music continues playing. They're screaming, flesh tearing, and complete chaos. The strobe lights keep flashing, giving quick glimpses of the horror happening everywhere. Akira gets targeted by Amon, one of the most powerful demons. Amon tries to possess and take over Akira's body completely,
he
but something
remained in
different happens
control.
with Akira. Instead of losing his human mind like everyone else, Akira manages to keep his human heart and consciousness while merging with Amon's power and body. This makes Akira a devil man, a demon body with a human soul
What
still
are you-
inside. He gets
basically a
Amon's
host.
incredible strength, speed, and abilities, but he keeps his emotions, memories, and his ability to cry. This is extremely rare.
But he still became demon-like, you know. He became very aggressive, very impulsive. At some point, he was watching Korn in the class. I was like, bro, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? The man changed a lot, because it's still a fusion of something demonic with something human, you know what I'm saying? So he still, like, he kept his human part, but he gained the devil-like part, you know what I'm saying?
Almost everyone else who gets possessed loses their humanity completely.
Yeah,
By the
devil
time
men
the
are really
Sabbath
rare.
ends, most of the people there are either dead or have become full demons. The demons can
Or were
disguise
killed by
themselves to look
Akira.
human again, so some of them walk out of the warehouse looking normal on the outside, but inside they're completely different creatures with no human emotions left. The few people who survive
they are
without being
demons.
possessed are left traumatized by what they saw. They watch their friends and strangers transform into monsters right in front of them. There was no warning, no time to escape. One moment it was a party, reality, the next moment it was a mass possession event. The Chimera Ant Queen has a special ability called phagogenesis. This means when she eats other creatures, she can give birth to offspring that have traits from whatever she ate. If she eats a fish, her
That's,
babies might have
Hunter
fish
Hunter.
features. If she eats a bird, they might have wings. When the queen arrives in the human world, she starts eating humans. This changes everything. The ants she
Yup.
gives birth to after eating humans are hybrids, part ant, part human. They walk upright, have human-like hands, and can talk, but they still have ant features like exoskeletons, antennae, and insect eyes. The really disturbing part is that these ant-human hybrids sometimes carry memories from the humans the queen ate. They remember pieces of their past human lives, but now they exist as giant ant soldiers serving the colony. Colt is one of the Chimera Ant squad leaders. He looks like a giant humanoid ant with eagle features, but he has memories of being human. He remembers he had a little sister when
That's
he was
him.
human. Her name was Reyna. Throughout the series, he has these human feelings and memories, even though he's now a loyal soldier in the ant army. Reyna was also eaten by the queen along with her brother. She gets reborn as one of the queen's offspring. Later, after the Chimera Ant King Meruem is born and the
There you
original
go.
queen dies, Reyna is reborn again in a special way as the new queen's first child. She carries memories of her human mother and her past life. Different ants remember different amounts of their human lives. Some, like Colt, have clear memories and can remember specific people and events. Others only have vague feelings, like they know they cared about something but can't
But they
remember,
can't
what,
remember
exactly.
what it was.
Some don't seem to have any human memories at all. As
And
the
they
queen
don't give
eats
a
more
fuck.
humans, the ants she produces become more and more human-like. They start developing human emotions like fear, ambition, loyalty, and love. They begin to question orders and think for themselves. The royal guards and the king himself
That's
are
what
armed
happens
with
when you
incredibly
start
high-
making humans. That's what happens when you start making humans, bro.
intelligence and complex emotions because the queen had consumed so many humans by that point. The squadron leaders start acting less like insects following instincts and more like individuals with personalities. Some
Yup.
of them even start to rebel against the colony's mission. Meleron, another squad leader, decides to help the humans instead of fighting them because he develops a sense of morality. Shinsekai Yori takes place about 1,000 years in the future.
What the
Society
fuck
is
is
made
this?
up of humans with psychic powers called Cantus, who live in small villages. Outside the
is
villages are
this?
creatures called monster rats, or Bakenezumi. They look like giant naked
The enemies are rats. Man, get this.
mole rats that
What
walk
the
on two
fuck?
legs. They build colonies, go to war with each other, and serve the human psychics. Throughout the series, the monster rats are treated as intelligent animals or a separate species. They have
Rats
their
are
own
the
language,
enemies?
complex societies with queens
Come
and
on,
workers,
man.
and can communicate with humans. But everyone assumes they're just evolved rodents that happen to be smart.
Oh, they're
the
not
truth comes
rats?
out during Squealer's trial. Squealer is a monster rat leader who rebelled against the humans. After his rebellion is crushed, he's put on trial. During the trial, he
What
reveals
happened?
what the monster rats actually are. The
What
monster
are they?
rats are humans. Specifically, they're descended from normal humans who
I had a fucking feeling.
didn't have psychic powers. About 1,000 years ago, when psychic powers first appeared, society fell apart. The psychics had death feedback, a mechanism that
Which
makes them
is?
die if they kill other humans. This was built into them genetically to prevent psychics from killing each other.
Oh.
To get around this, the psychic humans genetically modified the non-psychic humans. They changed them so much
What?
that they no longer registered as human. They were transformed into
What?
creatures that looked like naked mole rats. This way, psychics could kill them without triggering death feedback. These modified humans became the monster rats. They were
Yo.
forced into this form and made to serve the psychic humans as a slave race. But they kept their human level intelligence, emotions, and ability to form complex societies. They just couldn't fight back effectively against the psychics.
Yeah.
Squiller explains all of this during his trial. He argues that monster rats are human and deserve human rights. He points out that they have language,
Bruh.
culture, families, and emotions just
No
like the
shit, they
psychic
were humans, bro. What the hell? That's
humans.
messed
He says
up.
they were forcibly transformed and enslaved, and his rebellion was a fight for freedom. The humans at the trial don't deny that monster rats are descended from humans. They know it's true, but
They
don't
know they
care.
did it. Nick, they did it because they thought of themselves as superior than other humans. Of course, they don't give a fuck, bro. What did you thought this was gonna do?
They've built their entire society on having monster rats as servants in a lower class. Admitting that monster rats are human would mean admitting to generations of slavery and genocide. Throughout the series, before this revelation, we see monster rats doing very human things. They negotiate, make alliances, betray each other, love their families, and fear death. Their colonies have social structures similar to human societies. They
Yeah,
create art
'cause
and
they
have
were
cultural
humans.
practices.
What
All
is
of
this
these are
anime?
signs of
That's
their human
messed
origins.
up.
The transformation wasn't just physical. It was designed to make them look non-human enough that psychics wouldn't feel guilt about killing them or using them as slaves. Their appearance as giant rodents made it easier for the psychic humans to treat them as animals rather than people. The trial ends with Squealer being convicted and sentenced to continuous torture using a device called Eternal Hell. hell. He keeps screaming that they're human and deserve better treatment, but the psychic
Nah,
humans ignore his
bro.
pleas because acknowledging the monster rats as human would destroy their entire way of life. This revelation recontextualizes everything that happened in the series. All the times monster rats were killed, enslaved, or treated as disposable, those were all actions against humans who had been forcibly transformed. The main characters were unknowingly participating in a system of human slavery and oppression the whole time. If you like this video, turn on the notification bell and subscribe for more.
What the fuck? I was not expecting this. What? Yo. What? That's messed up. They genetically modified them so that they wouldn't suffer from killing them anymore. What? Oh my god. Wow. God damn. I was not expecting this, man. Whoa. God. Wow. God damn, bruh. Shit. Oh my god.